Hi, I'm Ron Meyer, the Family First Coach. Today I get to display my new business sign that my kids made for me for my birthday. It was one of those unexpected gifts, and frankly, it's worth a whole lot more than anything they could have bought in the store. So welcome back to Stop Tantrums in Their Tracks. 3 simple strategies to get your kids to quit acting out. This is the second of 3 videos utilizing the CEC method so that you can connect, engage, and communicate with your kids. Hopefully you've had a chance to watch the first video on Connect. And if you have, I'd love to hear from you, whether you have any questions or just want to share your experience with it. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and be ready to be engaged. In order to create the confidence and self-esteem in your kids, you need to be able to connect, engage, and communicate with them. Having happy and well-adjusted kids will create a sense of peace in your house, and that'll reduce the stress in your life. So before we get into engage, let's do a quick review of connect. So put yourself first. How'd that go by doing one simple thing to put yourself first? It may be a little uncomfortable at first, but as you start to do it, you'll see the impact that it has, and it will naturally get easier. Acceptance. How many times did you see where your choices were impacted by what you thought others might be thinking? Or how did it feel to accept yourself for who you are? Again, the more you accept yourself, the easier it'll be to accept others, including your kids. Parenting style. So what types of parenting styles did you observe amongst other parents? The important thing is, what are you doing to put those into practice? Significance. What different reactions or responses did you get by asking those right questions? What do you think about this? How do you feel about that? Remember, significance, it's one of those 6 human needs, and it's so important to kids. As you can see, these strategies can be helpful in any relationship, not just within the family. And remember too, when you can be the change, you'll see that as you change, that will have a big impact on everybody else around you. So let's get started with engage. As we know, to be engaged is to become more involved. Just like gears being engaged can drive one another, so too can you get engaged with your family so that you all work together. With all the technology available at our fingertips, it makes it easy to be there physically, but not mentally, emotionally, or spiritually for our kids. Have you ever noticed how many times parents are watching one of their kids' games, but aren't really there because they're talking, texting, or even watching something else on their telephone? Perhaps you're at an event, but spend the entire time just talking with the other parents and not really paying attention. Kids know when we're only there physically for them. And what message do you think that sends? Perhaps you hear your child when she tells you something cool that happened during the day, but you're not listening because your mind's off thinking about your to-do list. I mean, it's no wonder kids have to act out in order to get some attention, even if it isn't good attention. Think about it. We expect our kids to pay attention to us when we talk, but we have to be the change we want to see in them by being totally present when they are talking. Imagine a small child wanting to talk to their mom and dad, and that child gets the sense that mom and dad's whole world seems to stop for a while, just so they can hear what that child has to say. Now imagine the impact that has. The problem is that we as parents are so busy with extracurricular activities and the increased workload outside the home that it's really tough to make the time to really get engaged with our families. As parents, We need to be present or involved not only physically, but also mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Once you make that initial connection, now it's time to solidify it by being truly engaged with them. Our kids need us to be there for them, to assist them in order to help create a strong foundation of these 4 components of who we are. So let's look at being more engaged physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. To be engaged physically, we have to really just take time to make time to be there, even if it's just hanging out. My son and I had a boys' night out the other day, and all we did is we went to some pizza place, had dinner, and came back to the house, watched college football. He has this little stuffed football that we were tossing around. Yes, Mom, I know I was throwing ball in the house, but luckily nothing got broken. But I'd toss it to him, and he'd make his diving catch on the couch. And it didn't seem like that great of a boys' night out, nothing to write home about. But my son shared with my wife later on that night when she was putting him to bed that how much he really, really liked it. So when it comes down to it, we just have to make it a priority and be conscious to plan it into their schedule. By being there to support them in whatever activities they're involved in also, it just shows them how much you care. And making the time to be with them is a great way to show your love, and even if they don't acknowledge it, they do notice it, and they really do appreciate it. Now, to be engaged mentally, we just need to help them learn more than just with their homework, but just stimulating their minds with good ideas, thoughts, and examples. It's becoming more and more important. I mean, if you notice all the messages and what kinds of messages they get from these games that they play and the videos they watch and the TV shows, they're probably not ones that you would really recommend. So that's why it's critical that you have an influence on what messages are being received by your kids, because those messages are going to come from you. So here's a couple things that you can do that will help. Read the same book or article in a magazine or even a newspaper and discuss it. Use those tools from the last video. Ask them what they thought or how they felt. Or you can work puzzles with them. Or just play thinking games with them. Something that is productive, and yet it's time you guys are spending together. Again, the payoffs for doing this are big. They're exercising your brain, you're exercising your brain, and more importantly, again, you're doing it together, which creates a tighter bond. Kids need their parents' time and attention more than all the stuff that they have. So help them to grow, and to grow in a positive direction. Now, to be engaged emotionally, again, get in touch with their feelings. Find out how it makes them feel on simple things like whether you're at their game or if you're not at their game. Learn how your child feels about the big things and even the little things in life. Just be curious. Be the change that you want to see. Share those same types of things with them. I feel blank when I see or feel or taste or touch, whatever it is. Set the example for them, and they'll follow. So when they're sad or upset, allow them to express it. And don't dismiss how they're feeling. Don't give them the, oh, you're okay, just, get over it. Allow them to share their pains with you and also their joys. One thing to consider too is it's really important to meet them where they're at. So if they're sad or upset, don't come in there trying to be Mr. Happy and help them to get over it quicker, you'll meet them where they're at. Allow them to express their feelings. And then as you talk through, then you can help them start seeing things in a different light and help raise their spirits. Having emotionally strong and intelligent kids is something that will have a huge impact on their life. They're going to be more self-confident, and they're going to be better equipped to handle whatever curveballs life throws their way. Now, to be engaged spiritually, and for this, it means different things to different people. So whatever it means to you. Myself, I see religion and spirituality as two different things which actually support each other. So find out what it means to them. Again, be curious. Come from a place of curiosity. That way the kids don't feel like they're being lectured to. Ask them, what do they think about God or universe? You may be amazed by the answers that you get from them. And the cool thing is, sometimes it's really great experience to see the world through the eyes of a child. And I know this is one of those subjects that parents tend to shy away from because it's not a factual or provable type of topic, which causes the parents to feel a little insecure and that we don't know everything. Many parents feel like how can I teach my child something I don't completely understand myself? And that's understandable, but that's all the more reason to talk to them about it, because it's an open conversation. And allow yourself to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness. So we don't have to pretend that we have all the answers, especially when it comes to spirituality, because it's based on our beliefs. So find out what it is they believe. By asking them what they believe, rather than telling them what they should believe, you're going to get better engagement. You're going to get better buy-in. You're going to get a lot deeper conversations. So again, it's important to meet them where they're at. It's a journey. Share it with them. So here are some tools that you can use to help you get more engaged with your kids. The first one is to just stop and look them in the eyes and be totally present. If they're talking to you, stop what you're doing and simply look at them. It's what you would want them to do. I mean, how frustrating is it when your kids are fixed on that computer screen while you're trying to have a conversation with them? That's where it's up to us to set the example and be that change. So if they go and ask you something, hey mom, hey dad, stop what you're doing. Turn, look at them. Focus your attention on them. And if they're smaller kids, get down to their level physically. So that way it doesn't appear that you're talking down to them. I remember first year I was coaching my boys' basketball team. They're all in the huddle standing there. And so I decided, hey, let me kneel down so I can look them eye to eye. And then they start kneeling down. So what are you guys doing? Oh, I'm sorry, coach. I thought we were going to pray. But again, it's something that is important to be able to be at their eye level so that you can be right with them and not talking down to them. And you'll be amazed of how many opportunities you have once you become aware of this, paying attention in the eye contact by really focusing that attention on them. The next tool is what I call the so what drill. It's time to free yourself from the electronic leash. We're all familiar with Pavlov and his dog experiment dealing with conditioning, but think about it. How much are we conditioned every time that phone vibrates or chimes to let us know that we have a text message, that we have to respond immediately? I mean, that phone will sound and people's hands are, boom, diving into their pocket or their purse, pulling out their phone as though it's life and death. So one simple thing you can do when you're with your kids and that chime goes off is to ask yourself, so what? Will it really matter in 5 minutes if I don't respond this very instant? So make that conscious choice to put your time with your family ahead of replying to texts and emails. Or let someone leave a voice message. So what? You didn't answer your phone. If you do this drill, what message do you think you're going to send to your kids? It'll be one of, I'm here for you, and you are important. You are significant. The next tool is what I call digital detox. Yep, it's time to set aside some time where the TV, computer, phones, all the electronic stuff is shut off for an evening. Or start small and work your way up. You can do it a couple times a week or more. It may be tough at first, but it's important to be consistent. And you may just find that your kids start playing with some of those toys they haven't played with in a long time. Or they may even start playing with each other. It really creates more of an opportunity for family time because you are a part of the detox also. So it's just not a matter of your kids putting all the stuff away. Again, we got to be the change. The last one I have is what I call time in for parents. So put all those distractions aside. The physical stuff, the phones, the work, but also the internal stuff. All the worries, constantly thinking about your to-do list. Really set aside some time and make a conscious effort to be there 100%. Put all that stuff out of the way and be there for your kids. Maybe a little bit uncomfortable at first, but again, just stick with it and imagine what that'll do for your relationship. So there's 4 simple little tools. So try them out. Have fun with them. Remember those 4 areas of being engaged: physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. That's just how we're made. And the more of those you get engaged with, the smoother those gears will turn in your house. Also, don't forget to try out some of those tools and see how well they work for you. So with the CEC method, the first time we covered connect. Today we covered engage. And in our next video, we're going to cover communicate. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thanks again for being here, because it helps me fulfill my mission to change the world one family at a time. Until next time, have a great week.